Welcome to Hatman Strikes Back Daily Boxing News. According to Boxing Scene, negotiations are actually underway now between Oleksandr Usyk and Fabio Wardley, as they should be. There have been some people speculating that the fight may not happen, that Usyk will maybe want to go in a different direction because the fight's not lucrative enough. And while I can't dismiss this notion completely, I tend to suspect Usyk will go through with this fight because he is different to the Luke Partridges and perhaps the majority of champions around today. He has a different kind of mentality. So he fought AJ for an absolute fortune in their rematch. His next fight was against Daniel Dubois, and I think he only got about $5 million for it. A fraction of what he got against AJ. He could have vacated the belt instead of fighting Dubois, but he didn't. He went ahead with it. I suspect he'd get more money fighting Wardley than he got for fighting Dubois. Wardley's profile has been rising. He's coming off 2 dramatic knockout wins where he came from behind. That's really going to resonate with the British public. And obviously the British public are very familiar with Oleksandr Usyk. So it's a fight I can see happening. And as I say, according to Boxing Scene, it's in negotiations now. I think a lot of this will hinge, and by a lot of this I mean whether the fight takes place or not, on what Fabio Wardley's willing to accept. He apparently made 7 figures for the Joseph Parker fight. Against Oleksandr Usyk, how much do you reckon he's going to want? 3 mil? If he's willing to accept that, I reckon the fight's doable. They might even push it to 5 mil, as long as Usyk's willing to accept, let's say, no more than 10. I'm not a numbers guy behind the scenes, right? I'm just a layman fan on the outside looking in, but I've been watching boxing for many decades. So if I was to hazard a guess, I would say probably the maximum that they would pay these guys if they were to fight next, let's say in the UK, unless Turkey Al-Sheikh got involved. If Turkey Al-Sheikh got involved and bankrolled the whole thing, disregard what I'm saying now. But if it's just a standard Queensbury show in the UK and Frank Warren has to come up with the money, then I reckon probably you'd have to max out at paying Usyk 10 mil and Wardley 5 mil. Absolute max. Wardley probably wouldn't get 5 mil because he's basically a mandatory challenger. He holds the WBO and I think the WBA interim titles. And those are basically souped up versions of mandatory status. And normally as a mandatory, you're going to get 25-30%, between 20 and 30% if it goes to a purse bid against the champion. In which case, if the pot is 15 mil and Usyk's on, let's say, 70 or 75% of the purse split, then Wardley's probably going to be looking at more like 3 to 4 mil rather than 5. Would he accept that? We shall see, but I'm pleased to hear the negotiations are underway for this fight. Some people might moan and say, oh, it's another Brit and Usyk's going to beat this guy easily. I think he will beat Fabio Wardley comfortably, but I said the same thing about Joseph Parker and look what happened there. I've picked against Fabio Wardley several times and he keeps proving me wrong. I think Usyk will be a step too far, but I've said that in the past before. The point is he's earned his shot. So whether we want to see other fights more than Usyk versus Wardley or not, it's irrelevant. There's a system in boxing. And if you fight your way to the mandatory position as Wardley has, then you deserve your shot. And it's often in situations like that where you get the biggest upsets, actually. When there's a fight that people are kind of unenthusiastic about, they see it as a routine defense for the champion, and he goes in there and gets beat, and it turns the whole division on its head. I'm not saying that will happen. I don't expect it to happen, but historically, it has happened in the past. Mike Tyson, Buster Douglas being by far the best example of it. That was seen as a totally routine defense for Mike Tyson. He was supposed to blast Buster Douglas out in 1 round, 3 rounds tops. That's what most people were expecting. So yeah, Wardley's earned his shot. And since Usyk wants to continue, I don't think Usyk should continue. I think he should retire now. But since he's insisting apparently on continuing, then you got to fight your mandatories. And so here it is. Wardley's next up. Usyk wants to fight on until he's 41, apparently. So you got to go through these things. You got to take on the Fabio Wardleys of the world before you eventually fight opponents who the public are more excited about as far as having a chance of beating you. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section below. Do you think this fight will happen? Are you like me, glad negotiations are underway because Wardley deserves his shot? Or do you feel differently? Whatever the case, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share this video. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out.